Old Faithful. Sir Handel stayed shut for several days, but one market day, Peter Sam could not work. He needed repairs. Sir Handel was glad to come out. He tried to be kind, but the coaches didn't trust him. They were awkward and rude. He even sang them little songs, but it was no use. It was more unfortunate, too, that Sir Handel had to check suddenly to avoid running over a sheep. "He's bumped us!" screamed the coaches. "Let's pay him out!" The coaches knew that all engines must go carefully at a place near the big station, but they were so cross with Sir Handel that they didn't care what they did. They surged into Sir Handel, making him lurch off the line. Luckily, no one was hurt. Sir Handel limped to the shed. The Thing Controller inspected the damage. "No more work for you today," he said. "Bother those coaches. We must take the village people home and fetch the tourists, all without an engine." "What about me, sir?" said a voice. "Skarloey," he exclaimed. "Can you do it?" "I'll try," answered the old engine. The coaches stood at the platform. Skarloey advanced on them, hissing crossly. "I'm ashamed of you," he scolded. "Such behaviour! You might have hurt your passengers. On market day too." "We're sorry, Skarloey. We didn't think. It's the Sir Handel. He's—" "No tales," said Skarloey firmly. "I won't have it. And don't you dare try tricks on me." "No, Skarloey. Of course not, Skarloey," quivered the coaches meekly. Skarloey might be old and have dirty paint, but he was certainly an engine who would stand no nonsense. His friends crowded round, and the guard had to shoo them away before they could start. Skarloey felt happy. He remembered all the gates and stiles where he had to stop, and whistled to his friends. The sun shone, the rails were dry. "This is lovely," he thought. But presently they began to climb, and he felt short of steam. "Bother my tubes," he panted. "Take your time, old boy," soothed his driver. I'll manage, he wheezed, and pausing for breath at the stations, he gallantly struggled along. After a rest at the top station, Skarloey was ready to start. "It'll be better downhill," he thought. The coaches ran nicely, but he soon began to feel tired again. His springs were weak, and the rail joints jarred his wheels. Then, with a crack, a front spring broke, and he stopped. "I feel all crooked," he complained. "That's torn it," said his driver. "We need a bus now for our passengers." "No," pleaded Skarloey. "I'd be ashamed to have a bus take my passengers. I'll get home or burst," he promised bravely. The Thing Controller looked at his watch and paced the platform. James and his train waited impatiently too. Then they heard a hoarse peep, peep, then groaning and clanging and clanking. Skarloey crept into sight. He was tilted to one side and making fearful noises, but he plodded bravely on. I'll do it, he gasped between the clanks and groans. I've done it." And he sighed thankfully as the train stopped where James was waiting. James said nothing. He waited for his passengers and then respectfully puffed away. "You were right, sir," said Skarloey to the owner that evening. "Old engines can't pull trains like young ones." The owner smiled. "They can if they're mended, Old Faithful," he said. "And that's what will happen to you. You deserve it." "Oh, sir," said Skarloey happily. Sir Handel is longing for Skarloey to come back. He thinks Skarloey is the best engine in the world. He does his fair share of work now, and the coaches never played tricks on him because he always manages them in Skarloey's way.